guys, I'm making this video for one of two reasons. First of all, I'm going to be redoing part 3 of I Don't Want to Be Anything because I wasn't very happy about the footage for specific reasons, so I deleted it, and afterwards I made a update video talking about it and several other things, and I kind of made a molehill out of a mountain with some things, and I later on realized how ridiculous it was, so I just kind of got rid of that video because it was pointless and not needed. For those of you who saw it, I won't let that happen again, but yeah, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. It's really not important. But the real reason I'm making this video, in regards to cutting footage, this is unrelated to what I was just talking about. I was just throwing that out there for anyone who saw that ridiculousness. But the real reason I'm making this video here is because I want to tell you guys that I am going to start cutting footage again. And yeah, I was thinking earlier, and I'm actually in the process of editing my part 2 that I recorded the other day of I Don't Want to Be Anything, and I got to thinking, I was at this one part for like 24 minutes, and I got to thinking, I really do need to cut some of this out. I used to do that. I mean, you guys probably remember, I used to cut and edit my videos back then, but after a while I stopped, and I'll be honest, I just didn't really want to deal with it. I think the reason that I stopped wanting to deal with, footage, like, editing and cutting and stuff like that, I think the reason I wanted to stop with it was because of the whole desync thing. It's like, that I got obsessed with that stupid desync thing for so long, and that kind of broke my will to do a lot of things, and, well, afterwards, it's like, basically it increased the amount of work I had to do for each video, because now I have to watch through the video, minute by minute, and look for where it desyncs and fix those little desync points, and I just got to thinking, I do enough work doing that, and I just didn't really want to have to deal with editing footage anymore, and, I didn't want to deal with having to cut, because, I'll be honest, when I used to cut things in the past, it was difficult for me. It is true that when I cut things out, it does feel like it kind of takes away from the video, but I don't know. The real reason I didn't really like cutting footage was because, honestly, it was just hard for me to think of what to cut out. Like, well, okay, I'm sorry. I'm probably getting kind of confusing here. Let's go back. Back then, I really had to cut footage because I had a time limit for videos, 15-minute time limit. And I ended up having to cut out a lot of stuff, in order to fit the time limit quite often. And, well, after getting unlimited time for my videos, that combined with, all the obsessive crap that I went through before in regards to desync and, the extra work I have to do on the videos now in order to, make them sync up as good as I can, well, all of that pretty much just killed my will to, actually put a lot of effort into something and, cut out stuff that most people probably wouldn't want to see. And, I will admit, it's kind of lazy, and I was just thinking of that earlier. I was thinking, you know what, this feels really lazy, and I really don't want to do things like this anymore. I want to go back to how I used to cut videos and, shorten some segments where I was stuck on something for an extended period of time. And that's what I'm going to do. I don't really know how long I have to be stuck in order to do this. I say maybe if I'm at something for more than 10 or 15 minutes, I might make some, or I don't know, maybe 20. I really don't know. Basically, if I'm at something for an extended period of time, I may start, or I will start making cuts to, shorten it. For example, in this particular footage, I had to, Like every time I wanted to attempt this one segment, I had to constantly jump on this platform and wait for it to go around these mushrooms and then jump on it again. It's like I could cut some of those out, like some of those times where I'm basically just waiting. I have to write it to the next screen and then jump across the bees from Donkey Kong, which are called zingers. I finally remember the name of them, but yeah. At least I think they're called zingers. It's like basically I could cut out some of the times where I'm waiting for that and I could just cut right to the next screen where I'm writing it into the zingers. I mean, that's the way I should do it, and it's the way I'm gonna do it. I said before that there's probably two audiences. There's some that would rather see me cut stuff, and there's some that would, rather see the whole thing in full. And that honestly is true. I mean, I will admit that I was using that as a means to justify it, but the thing is, that really is true, because there probably are some people who would like to see the whole thing, but I was thinking about that too, and I realized the reason that they probably want to watch through it all is because they want to find the good stuff. It's like, it's like if you cut something out, it's like if they watch videos that are all like, cut up and stuff, some of them may think, oh, he may have cut out some good stuff, darn. Well, I just won't cut out any good stuff. I'll just cut out the other stuff. I don't know. I'm sure you all get what I mean, though. Also, I'm going to try not to fill out the whole description with crap this time, because I don't think I really need to. I think you all understand what I mean. But yeah. What else did I say? Oh yeah, in regards to bettering my commentary, I said that I was going to try to better my commentary so that I wouldn't have to cut stuff. Well, I kind of thought of something. Just because I'm talking doesn't necessarily mean it's good for watching. Like, just because even if I do keep talking during those segments where I'm stuck on something, if I'm not really, if I'm not being interesting and I'm just like, repeating the same thing over and over, then who would really want to watch that anyway? Really, I was talking with one of my good friends about it earlier, and it really made me realize some things. Like this, Rez, and I gotta say thank you. It made me realize what the right thing to do is, and I just want to say I'm sorry for being lazy about, I'm sorry for becoming lazy about cutting footage and stuff, and I'm going to basically start doing that again if it's required, and I think it is required in part 2. You will see the results of that, and I will re-record part 3 probably tomorrow. Spirit is going to be visiting, and we will probably record that and have a fun time, but yeah. Basically, if the commentary's interesting and, see, that's another thing. It's like, I'm not sure what you guys would define as interesting and define as something that you'd need cut out, but I think interesting would just be like, original things that are said, but, it's like, I don't know. Like, I know I just can't really bring the words to my mouth for some reason, but basically, so basically this is what I'm going to do. If I get stuck on something for an extended period of time, I am going to look through the footage, and I'm basically going to pick out uninteresting parts to cut. It's like if I say something that's interesting, or if we say something that's interesting, or, something like that, then I will leave those parts in, but I will also cut out more silent segments. I'll cut out things where I was just repeating, and sometimes I'll just cut to a certain part over and over, like the platform and the zingers. I'm not exactly sure when I'll actually start cutting in a video. Like, I may show myself failing at something for 5 or 10 minutes without cuts, and then I start bringing the cuts in. I don't really know. But you know what? I'll work that out. And yeah, I have realized that cutting my footage and actually editing my videos, like that again, would definitely be the right thing to do. And honestly, I feel better about myself doing it like that because really, I all of a sudden, I just felt lazy. I was thinking, man, I feel like a lazy bum. And I don't want to feel like that. So you know what? I just forget what I've said about not wanting to cut videos these past few weeks or months or whatever. I don't know. Just forget about that. I mean, it may be a little extra work, but you know what? I have to sit there looking through the whole video to fix the desync stuff anyway, so I might as well. Oh, and another thing. Um, those little this kind of made me feel like a dummy when I realized this. The little random freezes that happen on my computer with certain games? Well, I just realized I have to edit that out. I have to edit and cut those out. So, why would I not just cut out, certain parts of certain segments to make something go along faster? Just leave in the good stuff, leave in the interesting stuff. Of course, I don't have to cut out all of the quieter, boring stuff, but, you know, at least do something to shorten the length of it and make it more bearable. But, yeah. I decided to just scrap the whole, timestamp thing to go to wherever I get past something. Because what if I don't even get past something in a video? It's just. But yeah, I'm sure all of you are going to be very happy to hear this, and I'm sorry that I basically became that way about my videos. It was a combination of all that crap that happened in recent months that just kind of made me become lazy at it, but not anymore. I am going to cut things like I used to. And I'm sorry for, kind of repeating myself here. It's just. You know what? Just wait for part two, okay? Just wait for part two if I don't want to be anything, and that will be an example. Like, the way I may do it is like. Oh, I don't even know. You'll see, though. Really, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if it's kind of. I'm sorry if this video is kind of confusing, but. Look, I should. It's like, I'm not saying all of you can't understand, but what I should say is that I should have more faith in you guys. Like, no, oh man, that sounds bad. No, I don't mean that I think you guys are incapable of comprehending what I'm saying. I'm just saying that it's like I'm always afraid that I'm not clear enough. I'm always afraid that you guys aren't getting what I'm saying. Is like I'm afraid I'm too confusing. I'm afraid that I'm not explaining things clearly, but I mean, I'm sure you guys have enough of an imagination to figure out what I'm saying and understand exactly what I'm saying, so I shouldn't worry so much about that. But I shouldn't have to worry about being 100% perfect speaking. Sometimes I kind of stumble over my own words and get a little confusing, but you guys get what I mean. Basically, I'm going to start cutting things to make things shorter and more watchable again. Trim off the fat. Anyway, see you guys. Alright, I guess I'll go ahead and say this as well to just put this to rest. In regards to commentary, or should I say in regards to trying to improve my commentary as I said I was going to do, I was going to do that for two reasons. One of them was to basically give me more of a reason to upload full videos without cuts, because I just kind of thought to myself, if I keep talking throughout the whole video and the commentary doesn't go down or whatever, then it'd be watchable. But, I kind of realized while watching it, I don't know if I said this in the video I just made. Sometimes I forget things really quickly, but I kind of realized while watching that, wow, this is really not that entertaining. Like, even though I kept my commentary up all throughout part two of I Done Want to Be Anything, it really wasn't anything that great. I mean, it was not even really that fun to watch. And, so I kind of realized that's not really the key to improving myself. But you know what? I guess I don't really need to improve myself. You want to know why? Because even though I kind of thought my commentary wasn't really that good, you guys like it. You guys have always enjoyed it. And who do I make videos for? I make them for all of you. And if you guys are okay with my commentary, then I can be happy with my own commentary as well. Especially since I'm going to be cutting things now anyway. I mean, I don't really have much any reason to change it or try any harder or any worse than I used to. And I'm not, and don't take that as being lazy either, because that's just how I've always done commentary. Honestly, that's just how I am. I do go quiet during some things. I do run out of things to say a lot of the time. And if I tried to change that, I'd basically be changing myself into like someone else. And I kind of realized that a little bit earlier. And yeah. So, pretty much, just forget I said anything about trying to change or improve my commentary, because you know what? I'm going to be perfectly honest, I don't think I can improve it. Because I do repeat things a lot, and sometimes I go silent about things, but you know what? That's just me. I mean, I can't really help it. And, you know, I can't really change that, and sometimes repetition is completely impossible to avoid. I mean, when you're on something for so long, you just run out of things to say and you just start repeating yourself. But, yeah. So, anyway, with that, I think it's finally time to put this behind. I know, I've said that multiple times. I know, like, every time I go over one of these problems, every time I go over one of these obsessions, I'd say it's time to move on. But this time, I think it really is. Desync obsession, over. The whole little freezing obsession, which I don't even know if I was obsessed on that, whatever. That's over. Cutting footage, I wouldn't really consider that to be an obsession, because it was more just, I didn't really know what I should do, but I finally realized what the right choice was, and I'm very happy that I made this choice. Because really, I was conflicted inside about it. I was like, do I take the easy way, or do I take the slightly harder way, but, the more rewarding way? And, well, the choice is obvious. And, it may mean a little more work goes into the videos, but you know what? I'm happy. I'm happy doing that. I'm happy putting that extra effort for you guys. But anyway, that's about all I have to say. I think at this point I really can just get back to making videos like I used to. I'm so happy feeling right now. I'm really looking forward to this. Probably gonna have a visit tomorrow, and me and Tim will probably record part 3 of I Don't Want to Be Anything, and yeah, I'll have part 2 up later on, and you will see the cuts and the edits. You'll see how it goes. I was trying to explain how I would cut and edit things earlier, and yeah, I didn't do too good a job. Well, I might as well say it. Like, I might as well try to explain a little better here. Basically, when I get to a long segment where I get stuck on something for an extended period of time, basically. And no, I'm not explaining this, because I don't think you guys understand. I'm just explaining it because I want to. But, because I can actually think clear right now. It's like I'm actually thinking clearly. But, yeah, basically, when I get to a part where I get stuck on something for an extended period of time, what I might do is I might just show myself attempting it for about 5 minutes or so. Maybe 5 to 10, and after that point, like, I don't know, maybe 5. It really depends on what it is, but, honestly, honestly, I'm mostly thinking of I Want to Be the Guy stuff, because really, what other games do I play where I get stuck on something forever and ever and ever, except for I Want to Be the Guy? This is so. I guess most of these cuts will probably go to fan games anyway, because I don't really get stuck on other games that much. I'm sure there are some games out there, but you know, basically, I'll probably show full attempts for multiple time. About maybe 5, 10 minutes, and then after somewhere between there, and then after that amount of time, it's like after that I'll start making cuts. Like, for example, the platform thing. It's like in this case, I would start cutting to basically when I was on the next screen on the platform in part 2. You guys will see what I mean. And I don't mean that I'll. Oh, great, I'm starting to get confusing again. But yeah. Basically, I'll start making cuts, and at that point, I'll basically start leaving in the parts that I think are like the best parts, and I'll also show like the best attempts and stuff. And eventually, I might just cut to the end, or I might just keep showing the best parts and the best attempts until I get to the end. But either way, it'll really cut down on the video time, and I assure you guys, it'll be much, much more watchable. So, yeah, basically my old videos, okay? Like, I think I did this with some I Want to Be the Rockman stuff, maybe. I'm not sure. I may have. But, yeah. Pretty much, those of you who know my old videos know when I used to cut stuff, yeah. It'll basically be like that again. Anyway, that brings an end to this video. I'm happy to say that it truly is time to move on. Full speed ahead to a whole entire land of new videos. Bye, everyone. And Bolt says bye too, I guess.